rather an exciting video, although I say that every single time I do a video, but maybe I'm just excited for what I film, which you'd hope so anyway. But yeah, today I have a video that I'm rather excited about to do, and that is my university bookshelf tour. So I'm currently at university, so I'm not at home, so I can't do my like proper bookshelf, but I do have a rather large bookshelf at uni, even though when it first started it was quite small. The shelf wasn't small, it didn't grow in size, but the amount of books I had on my shelf was quite small, and in the last 6 or so months it's managed to grow quite exponentially, and now I have quite a lot of books to show you. So most of them are, sadly, well not sadly, most of them are uni books, so you'll get a little insight into books that you read as a uni student doing English literature. But I do obviously have quite a lot of books that I've read here that weren't in uni, or I've brought up to read here that weren't in uni. This is actually my second time filming this video because I didn't like the way the first one went. But when I was filming that first video, literally like as I was doing it, I reached 100 subscribers. So in that video I did say like how like appreciative I was, and I don't want to miss that out, so I'm just going to say it again here. I just didn't expect to reach 100 subscribers as quickly as I did. I think I've been on for just over a month now on BookTube, and just every person that watches my video, every person that likes or comments or like subscribes to my channel, it is just amazing, and I didn't think that it would really happen. Like, you always have that fear that no one's ever going to watch your videos apart from your mum, but you know, some people out there are watching this, as you are now, and yeah, it's just been amazing, and I just want to say thank you. I'm not going to go over it too much because I don't want, like, yeah, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and if people like it, great. If people don't, no hard feelings. We don't have to like everyone in the world, so you don't have to watch me. Simple as that. But for those that do want to watch, thank you, and I appreciate it a lot, and it has just been incredible, and I can't wait for the next month and months after that. So thank you again, and now I'm getting really awkward, so I'm going to go on to the video. So here's where I keep all my kind of Harry Potter and other posters at the back there. I'll put little clips in here to show you what they are. But starting with the books, oh, and a little nice little clock there, lovely. We have Metamorphosis by Ovid, then we have Ulysses by James Joyce, Kim by Rudyard Kipling, and Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. So I have this because I still haven't finished it. I've been meaning to read it for such a long time because I do want to read King of Scars, but I just haven't got around to it. I don't love this series as much as the Six of Crows series or Duology, which is why I'm struggling to get around to it. I just don't have the kind of willpower to do it, but we should get around to that soon. Next I have Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. This is a beautiful book, but it is hefty. If we just look at the size of that, that is a big one. It's like nearly 1,000 pages long, so we've got a lot to read of that, but I do plan on reading it for the Classics Community 2020 Reading Long Challenge, so we need to get started on that. Next we have The Odyssey by Homer, and this is translated by Robert Fagles, which is kind of the most well-known translation, I would say. The next book is Feminine Gospels by Caroline Duffy. This is something I had to do for my A-level, but I thought I'd just bring it to uni because it might be quite good for some of my modules. And next we have The Starless Sea, which I've just finished, and it is amazing. Would definitely recommend. Next we have A Winter's Promise by Christelle Dabos. Then we have King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. Been wanting to read this for a long time, but just haven't got around to it because I need to finish Ruin and Rising. And then we have Marlo James's Black Leopard, Red Wolf, which again I do want to read. It's got also these gold sprayed edges, which are lovely if it focuses. Here we go. And here we have Kingdom of Souls, which I again just read, so that will be coming up in my January wrap up. Next we have Moore's Utopia, which is where the word utopia came from. Cool fact for you. And that is a Renaissance thing. Next we have an audiobook, and that is Becoming Michelle Obama, and I hold this in my Christmas book haul if you want to see that. And then I just have some maps and kind of things on masters and stuff like that because, you know, we're cool here. And then a Walkman to actually listen to this on when I get around to it. Hello and welcome to my second shelf. So this starts off with some fun books, and they are A New Introduction to Old Norse Volume 1, 2 and 3. The first one is grammar, the next one is reader, and the other one is a bunch of names and things like that. So that's fun because I have to learn Old Norse for my Old Norse literature course. The next book is The Poetic Edda. The next book is The Angel Mad by Gareth Nix, and I just hold this and the next few books in my book haul, so if you want to hear more about that, I shall link it above. So this is William Shakespeare's complete works. Then we have A Girls of Storm and Shadow by Natasha Nagan. Then we have the Expedition of Humphrey Clinker. This I have to read for my Inventing Britain module. Next we have The Odyssey again by Homer, but this one is translated by Emily Wilson. So she is the first female to translate The Odyssey, and I think it'll be really interesting to compare it to the Fagles. Next we have Castle Rackrent and Ennui by Maria Edgeworth. This again I have to read for my Inventing Britain module. Next we have The Sagas of Icelanders, and this is for my Old Norse literature course, and it is got nice lovely sprayed edges, which, you know, who doesn't love a good sprayed edge? Then we have Dr. Faustus by Marlowe, and then we have the interesting narrative of Equiano and some other of his writings. So that is some propaganda for the abolition of the slave trade. Next we have the Norton Anthology for Victorian Literature. So this is just a compilation of different extracts of things from the Victorian period that I had to read for my Victorian module. Next we have Paradise Lost by John Milton. If you've done an English literature degree, you know that this will come up about 150 million times when you do it, so be prepared, even though I've still not read it somehow. Next we have The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This is a hefty girl. She is 700 pages or something long, so I do want to get to that next. I might pick it up, but we shall see. So just some dodgy lighting here, but just so you can see, this is the theory criticism from the Norton Anthology again, and it's basically just what it says on the tin. It's just a compilation of loads of extracts from theories and critics that I have to use in essays and stuff like that. So the next book is The Fairy Queen by Edmund Spenser. I had to read this for my Renaissance module, along with these two books, which are the Henry IV Part 2 and Henry IV Part 1, because they're back to front, which is annoying, and I shall change that soon. And they're by Shakespeare. The next book is Inferno, and that is Dante's Divine Comedy, Volume 1. The next one is Purgatory, and I think Paradise or something like that. I'm not sure, but I had to read some of this for last year. Next we have Daniel Defoe's Roxana. Then we have another Shakespeare play, A Midsummer Night's Dream. And then we have Beowulf, which is nothing like the film, so don't get your hopes up if you're going to read this. Then we have Jane Austen's Emma in the beautiful Penguin English paperbacks, going on to the Aeneid, which is by Virgil, again translated by Robert Fagles, and this is in the Penguin Deluxe edition, so it has the deckled edges once more. This lighting is starting to really annoy me, sorry about that, but what can you do? My window is at the funniest angle ever. The next book we have is Toni Morrison's play Desdemona, which is a retelling almost, or continuation of Shakespeare's Othello after they all die. So it's in the afterlife. Then we have In Memoriam by Tennyson, which is a very long poem, and you know. If you know, you know, you know. Then we have Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale, which is fun, definitely would recommend. Then we have Rupi Kaur's Milk and Honey. Then we have Seamus Heaney's Aeneid Book 4. So this is one of the books within this book, because a lot of Greek mythology or Greek literature even is not split up into chapters, it's split up into books. So that's like a chapter from that book, if that makes sense. Next we have Sophocles' Antigone, which is a play. Then we have Treasure Island and the Ebb Tide by Robbie Louis Stevenson. This is again in the Penguin English book, and I had to read that for a module. Next we have Hagseed by Margaret Atwood. Again, I had to read this for another module. This is a modern day retelling of The Tempest in a Canadian prison. I enjoyed it, so would recommend. Then we have Circe by Madeline Miller. This is a kind of, not exaggeration, but a creation or expansion, there we go, an expansion of a character that is from the Odyssey who has a very minor part, Circe. She's not in it very lot, and Madeline Miller kind of creates this entire kind of mythology around her and life around her, which I think is quite incredible, and I definitely enjoyed it, so go for it. Then we have Sophocles 2, which is a compilation of plays by Sophocles. Again, had to do this for a module. Then we have The Darker Shade of Magic 1, 2 and 3. So we have A Darker Shade of Magic, A Gathering of Shadows and A Conjuring of Light. I've only read the first one, need to go on to the second one. Next we have A Secret of Sirens, which is a middle grade book, but it was my boyfriend's favourite childhood book, so he wants me to read it, which is why it's on my shelf. Then we have The Once and Future King, which is by Amy Rose Capita and Corrie McCarthy. I think I butchered that name, but we're going to go with it. And that came in an Illumina crate, I think, like the only Illumina crate I've ever got in my life, but there we go. Sorry, I feel like my camera angles is like way dodgy here. Oh, and then we got this lovely little one, which is The Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx, which I had to read for a module again. And then we have Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens, again, had to read for a module. Hated the first half, loved the second half. Then we have The London Labour and London Poor, which is by Henry Mayhew, and that is a kind of compilation of interviews that he takes of people that live on the streets or have different vocations on the streets in Victorian era. Then we have Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, which is an Arthurian literature book. Then we have Oronuku and Other Writings by Aphra Behn. Then we have Grettir's Saga, Nagia's Saga, and those two again are for my Old Norse literature book. So haven't read them yet, but I'll let you know. Then we have The Rover and Other Plays again by Aphra Behn, and then we have The Duchess of Malfi, and that's by John Webster. Both of those are from the Renaissance period and are plays. Then we have Charlotte Bronte's Villette, which again I had to read for my Victorian period module. I enjoyed it, it's what I did my essay on in the end. And next we have 3 books which are in a weird order, and I don't know why, but we have Dark Dawn and Nevernight by J. Christoph. Nevernight is the first book, Dark Dawn is the last book. The third book is missing, or the middle book is missing because it's back home, but I want someone to read this book but couldn't be bothered taking a whole extra book up with me. And they are in different editions just because I prefer these editions, but I had to get this edition because it has a cat, or it has Mr. Kinley on it, or Kindly. Apparently it's Kindly, but I always said Kinley, which makes me sad because I think Kinley's better, but you know. And it's signed by the author and has black sprayed edges, which you can't see because of the light. There we go. And finally we have The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, which is one of my favourite books, which is why it's here. So there you go. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this bookshelf tour. I feel like it wasn't that interesting. It was a lot of uni reading, but you know, what can you do? This is my uni bookshelf, so there you go. I shall see you next time.